Hey guys, so it's time for the Timehopeathon, so I'm just going to vlog this week because I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. So I'm just going to show you my TBR now, just so you can see it. I did make a blog post about this at the beginning of the month, which I will link to down below. But I have slightly now changed my TBR, so I'm just going to go over it again, you know, just in case. Prompt number 1 is to read a classic. Now, I am going to be reading A Series of Unfortunate Events, Book 6, The Ersatz Elevator. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, but I have no idea what that word is, and I'm dyslexic, so I'm going to say I'm dyslexic and leave it at that. But I want to read this one. I know it's not technically a classic, but it is, to me, a classic children's book, and that's why I'm counting it. It's really, really short as well, to be honest, and that's why I picked it, because then I'm more likely to get to the other books in my TBR. Prompt number 2 was to read a book that was released in either 2017 or 2018. Now, I've got 3 books for this, because I'm going a bit crazy with this. Number 1 I'm going to do is Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme Out of Time by Robbie Thompson, and also Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme Time After Time, also by Robbie Thompson. Both of them were released last year in 2017, so they both count towards that prompt. Also, they're both about time travel, or at least Doctor Strange in this one, at the very least, comes across people like Merlin and Sorcerer Supreme from past and future. So this counts as time travel as well, so I thought this would be perfect for it. And this one, I think, involves travelling in time. I'm not quite sure. Either way, he is actually a time traveller who sometimes calls himself the Doctor, so he counts. The other book I've got is not actually physically out yet. It's out on the 22nd, and it's called Brain Freeze by Tom Fletcher, which, if you guys know, I'm a massive fan of Tom Fletcher, and his book comes out on the 22nd, and there's no way I wasn't going to read it. And because it's out this year, it counts towards the same prompt as well, and also, it's also about time travel, and considering this is the Timehopeathon, if I don't read about books about time travel, what am I doing with my life? And prompt number 3 is read a book that is set in the future or dystopian or something like that. And for that, I'm going to say Invictus, because, well, this book is obviously set in the future, but also they time travel through it. So I'm reckoning that this is probably a good one to read for the Timehopeathon, because A, it's set in the future, they're in space and things, and they're space travellers, but also they travel in time. And again, like I said, if I read any books this week, during this readathon, it should be books about time travel. So I thought this one would be absolutely perfect, so I'm going to go for this one as well. But that is my TBR for the Timehopeathon, so now I'm just going to get right into reading them. At the moment, I'm expecting to read The Series of Unfortunate Events, the comics Brain Freeze, and at least half of Invictus. I don't know if I'll actually finish it, but I'm going to at least try to. But that is currently my TBR, and let's get going with it. So it's day 2 of the Timehopeathon, and I've just finished the Ersatz Elevator. I'm pretty sure I'm still not pronouncing that right. And it took me a bit longer than I thought it would, but that's probably mostly because I'm starting to find these books rather samey, I think. It's basically the same storyline in every single book, to the point where you can literally just predict practically what page certain people are going to turn up and when they're going to realise things and stuff like that. So I'm getting a bit bored, I'd say. I really want to know what happens to the Baudelaire children, and if they ever get rid of Count Olaf and things like that. I really want to know. Or at least I know what happens, but I want to read it for myself. So I'm going to continue with this series at some point, but I'm starting to get slightly bored, so I may end up putting it off quite a lot. But it's all up from here, because I'm going on to the Doctor Strange comics. Yay! I'm so excited. Hey, so another day 2 update. I've just finished volume 1 of Robbie Thompson's Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme, and this is actually my 2nd ever Doctor Strange comic and my 3rd ever Marvel comic, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's telling the story all about Doctor Strange as Merlin brings him back in time with a whole load of other Sorcerer Supreme to defeat something called the Forgotten. And there's quite a lot of plot twisty bits and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. Even though Stephen, he does stuff, but he doesn't have that much magic. His magic has been really badly depleted in this one, so he didn't really do that many magic-y things and stuff, and I kind of wanted to see more magic-y things because he's Doctor Strange, and I really loved watching him do magic. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing how all the other Sorcerer Supremes worked, especially as one of them is Isaac Newton, which was rather odd, and another one is Wiccan, who, if I remember rightly, is the son of Scarlet Witch and Vision. I may not be right on that. I feel like I'm right on that, but I don't think I am. But I didn't know that Wiccan was actually had a boyfriend or a husband. I don't know if they're actually married or just dating, and they've got a son, which I thought was really, really cool. I know next to nothing about Wiccan. I've only heard a few things online, so I was very, very happy to see that kind of thing, and now I'm very interested in reading more about Wiccan, hopefully in the future, or maybe in the sequel. Hopefully in the sequel. He's probably in the sequel. But I really, really enjoyed this, and I really love the art style. It looks like this, so it was very, very cool and very, very psychedelic. Also, I want to show you the variant art, because one of the bits of variant art was done by Scotty Young. I don't know if you can see that properly, but I'm a big fan of Scotty Young's artwork, so I was really happy to see that in the back of it. Also, shallowly, I really like Stephen's outfit in this. You can see it a bit better in this one, but that's him there. I really like his outfit. It looks all dark and mysterious, so I really, really like that, because I'm quite shallow when it comes to Stephen. I'm a little bit in love with him. But I very much enjoyed this comic, and now I'm going on to the second one, which I'm very excited about, because obviously, as you can see, you've got Spidey, Vision, Falcon as Captain America, Thor, Wasp is there as well, so this is really, really exciting, because I have never read anything with Doctor Strange teaming up with so many superheroes. I've only ever read him teaming up with a few in like a one-shot collection. So I'm very, very excited to see this, to see how it works, and how he deals with that, and how he works with the other Sorcerer Supreme. So I just finished Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme time after time as well, which is actually the end of this storyline by Robbie Thompson, which I'm quite sad about, because I really, really enjoyed this one, actually. I think I enjoyed this one slightly more than I enjoyed this one, but I think that's because there was a lot of characters in here who I already knew about, or at least I knew more of, because there's cameos, obviously, from Spider-Man, Thor, Wasp, Vision, Falcon as Captain America. You've also got characters from the X-Men who I know, including Laura Kinney, who is obviously X-23/Wolverine. And obviously I know about her thanks to Logan. I haven't actually read any of her comics yet, but I do have a couple on my to-buy list. But there was a lot of characters in here that I knew about. There was also like Luke Cage and Howard the Duck turned up. And it was all, this was more Doctor Strange weirdness than I say than the first one. This was definitely really odd. Like, they fight a book and inside a book at one point. And things like this. It was very, very weird. But I really like that about the Doctor Strange comics. They're always very, very odd. And they're always very... yeah, they're just generally odd, to be honest. They're strange. To make a pun, they're strange. And I quite like that about these comics and stuff. And it really worked quite well. And I think it wrapped up the storyline quite well and stuff. And I just generally really, really enjoyed these comics. And I'd say that I'm really glad that I picked these up, because I picked them up for starters because they're Doctor Strange, and I really, really love Doctor Strange because of the movie, got me into him, and then I've started reading the comics now, or at least starting to collect the comics to read them. And also I picked this up because Robbie Thompson wrote them, and if you don't know, I'm a massive fan of Supernatural. I am a huge fan of the TV show Supernatural, of which Robbie Thompson has written some of their best episodes since Eric Kripke left. Robbie Thompson, if you don't know, he wrote the episode Fanfiction, which was the big 200th episode, which was set in the school doing the Supernatural play, where Chuck turned up at the end and things. And then he also wrote Baby, which is obviously the one that's set inside the Impala, from the Impala's point of view. And some really, really good episodes have been written by Robbie Thompson, so I generally trust his writing, because to be honest, Robbie Thompson created Charlie Bradbury. That's all you need to know. You know, the guy's a genius. I think he's absolutely brilliant as a writer. So when I saw that he was writing Marvel comics, I was immediately interested. Then when it said that he was actually writing Doctor Strange comics, I was there in a heartbeat. So I'm really glad I picked these up. These were a great one to sort of see how Doctor Strange travels in time and how he fixes things, and generally more of his sort of consulting superhero kind of job, I guess you could say. It was very, very interesting. So that is now actually 2 challenges done, and it's Tuesday, which is day 2 of Timehopeathon, and I have no idea how the hell I've managed this, but I've managed to now finish 2 out of the 3 challenges, and I'm very, very happy with this. I've now only got 2 books left to read. I've got Brain Freeze by Tom Fletcher, which isn't out yet, it's out tomorrow, so I'm going to read that obviously tomorrow. And I don't know if I'm going to post a full review on here or on my blog. Either way, I'll link it in the description so you can check it out if you want to. I will obviously be talking about it in this vlog, but I'll probably talk about it more in another video or a blog post, because I always do with Tom's books. That's coming out tomorrow. But then, the only book I've got to read now, that I actually own right now, is Invictus. Now, this is a complete brick of, how many pages? 454, which is quite frankly massive for me, and I don't know if I'm going to finish this in the rest of the week, because while I've been on fire so far, it's because those books are either comics or just really, really short, and this is obviously massive. Brain Freeze is only about 192 pages, I think. It's quite short, so it's not going to take me that long to read. This, on the other hand, is going to take me days. I'm quite frankly just expecting to get about halfway through and that'll be it. But either way, I'll be very, very happy with that, because then I'll just finish it next week. I've realised something. I have the attention span of a rodent, even when I'm really enjoying a book. I'm currently 34 pages into Invictus, and I'm really enjoying it so far. My one problem is that I keep on stopping, and I do this with every book I ever read. Seriously, I constantly end up like finishing a chapter, putting the bookmark back in, and then going online for 10 minutes to go check my email, look on Pinterest and Twitter and Tumblr and all the rest of them. Just why? Why? There's no need for me to keep on doing this. Yes, Twitter has notifications. Yes, go check them, go check Tumblr. That's fine. But why do I have to keep on going through everything else? Why do I have to keep on doing that? I keep on doing it, and it's really, really starting to annoy me, to be honest, and I can't stop. I have a severe internet addiction. Let's be honest, my addiction to the internet is rather severe at this point, and I should probably just try and read a book without stopping every 5 minutes, but I can't. And that's probably why it takes me so long to finish books, because I'm too busy clicking around on the internet. And I really need to stop doing that. That's just an observation that I've just thought of while reading this, as I paused for the 3rd time in 3 chapters. But I'm really enjoying this so far. I just wish I could stop pausing every 5 minutes. So it's now day 3 of the, I want to call it the Strike Back Videothon. It's not the Strike Back Videothon, but that's where my brain's going. It's day 3 of the Timehopeathon, and the lighting here is absolutely terrible. It's about to pour down outside, and quite frankly I'm very, very scared to turn on the light, because then people are going to be able to see through the net curtains at the window and see me talking at my phone, and that feels weird, so sorry for the lighting. But essentially I am now 125 pages into Invictus, with marked by my Loki bookmark, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But my problem is that I keep on getting distracted. Like I said in the previous clip, a previous update from yesterday, I keep on getting distracted. I'm horrendously distracted. This morning I was distracted because I thought I had Brain Freeze by Tom Fletcher to read, but it turns out it's actually not out until tomorrow, and it turns out I just can't read numbers. For some reason I have a serious problem with reading numbers. So I was immediately very, very confused, because I was looking at my Kindle going, where's my book? And it turns out it's not there. But then also there's been new promos for like the TV show Legion have been coming out, new Jessica Jones trailers are coming out, new Marvel news and stuff about Black Panther's coming out. Mum just messaged me as well about 2 hours ago, because she was in a charity shop which had a whole load of near pristine Marvel comics in there for like 4 or 6 quid each, and she was just sending me the photos of all of them and saying, do you want this one and this one and this one and this one and this one? And so I wasn't reading, and I obviously bought all of them, and I will be talking about that in a video later this week when this goes up. That'll probably be my video for Friday, but I am really, really enjoying this so far. I'm like, the main character really reminds me of Captain Kirk from Star Trek. Like, specifically, he's very much like Captain Kirk in the first Star Trek film with Chris Pine. He reminds me very much of that, and I'm really, really enjoying that sort of character idea. Only I think Far's a bit more serious as a character, and a bit more like he's got a few more problems with anger and things like that. But other than that, I find him very, very Captain Kirk, which I'm really, really enjoying. And I'm really, really intrigued by Elliot as a character as well, who's just turned up. I'm very, very intrigued by her and everything, and I'm just generally just really, really enjoying this book. I just wish I could concentrate on it, and I wish I had less distractions. Like, I have less distractions than I've been used to over the last year at the moment, and yet I'm just being fired at with, like, trailers, new comics, and 101 other things at the moment. It's ridiculous. But hopefully I'm not gonna finish that this week. There's no way in hell. But I'm gonna at least give it a damn good shot. I mean, I've got like a few more days, but I'm doubting that I'm gonna finish it this week. But I'm sure I'm determined to get at least halfway through, essentially. I'm determined to get halfway through. I just need to read about 100 more pages and then I'm about halfway through, which is entirely doable. So I'm going to try and get about 100 more pages in and get about halfway through, hopefully. Probably not today, maybe by the end of the week. I'm just going to hope I get halfway through, essentially. I'm not going to try and finish this week. That's ridiculous. And quite frankly, I've done a lot this week anyway. I've read 2 other comics, read another book, and I'm going to read Brain Freeze tomorrow. And if I get halfway through this as well, I'll be really, really pleased. So something's just happened in Invictus, or at least something's been revealed about a character in Invictus that I just have to talk about. One of the main characters has alopecia, and if you don't know what that is, it basically means that the immune system attacks their own body's hair follicles and means all their hair falls out. So like all the hair on their head falls out, their eyebrows, the eyelashes, everything goes, and sometimes it grows back and sometimes it doesn't. And in this, one of the characters developed alopecia at 6 and it hasn't grown back. And quite frankly, that is just something that I really need to talk about, because I've never read a book that has alopecia, like, in it. I've never seen it in a book. I've only ever seen it on things like Tattoo Fixers and Body Fixers, which are reality TV shows in the UK, where either a person comes in with a really, really bad tattoo and then gets a cover-up of something that they prefer, or Body Fixers generally helps people with something that's happened, or maybe like with alopecia, specifically with alopecia on Body Fixers. The hairdressers and people create stylised specific wigs for that person. So that's really the only time I've ever seen alopecia in the media. I never thought I'd read a book that has a character with alopecia in it, and quite frankly, it's fascinating, and I think that it's something that's definitely worth talking about and needed in the media, because so many people don't know what it is and stuff, and I only know because of the TV. I have never really heard of it, like, without the TV and stuff, and seeing Tattoo Fixers, Body Fixers, and Matt Lucas on TV, who also has alopecia. So it was really, really fascinating. Also, of all the main characters, there are now more girls than boys. There are 3 girls and 2 boys, and one of the women are POC and one of the men is POC as well, which is amazing. So we've got quite a nice diverse cast of characters, and I'm really enjoying that level of diversity, because I thought this book was just about able-bodied white people, and instead I have POC people and a character with a condition that I never thought I'd read about in a book. So I'm very, very much fascinated, and I just had to put the camera on and talk about it for a minute, because it struck me as something that's very new in books and stuff, and something that I really wanted to talk about and highlight, because I thought it was a really cool thing to put into a book, you know? It's just really fascinating, essentially, and I just wanted to point that out. So I just finished Tom Fletcher's Brain Freeze, because I decided to give Invictus a bit of a break so I could read Brain Freeze instead, because Tom takes priority whenever he releases a new book. And I absolutely loved it. It was only like a really short one. It was only like 119 pages of a children's story, and it was because it was released for World Book Day. Even though World Book Day is like in March, I think. It's horrendous. I don't know when World Book Day is, but it's sometime in March or something like that. And it was released for World Book Day, and it's all about a girl who, when she eats ice cream, can travel back and forward in time. It was such a really cool and creative story in that sense, and it was really, really heartfelt in places. It made me tear up at the end and stuff, and it was such a fun, good read. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of kids are going to really enjoy it as well, to be honest. It's just such a sort of fun and interesting like idea and stuff, and I just really enjoyed it. And I just generally really love Tom's books anyway, to be honest. I find Tom's books like so like creative and fantastical and everything. They remind me a bit of Roald Dahl in some senses because of how he plays with words and things like that. And I love like how out there weird they are, because like it's always like with other children's books that I read, I'm generally reading stuff about, well, skeleton detectives and things like that. I don't read like more Roald Dahl-y stuff, and I find that Tom's gives me that whimsical feeling with just the right amount of magic, that it feels magical without going too over the top and too sort of sugary sweet kind of thing. I like that sort of like level that he's got going with it, essentially. And I just generally really enjoy Tom's books, to be honest. I was going to write a full review on this, but I think it's just a tad bit too short to do a full review or full video for it. But essentially, yeah, I just really enjoyed Brain Freeze. And now I'm going to do some YouTubing for a bit, possibly edit Friday's video, which is an unboxing for Fairy Loot, and then I'm going to carry on with Invictus, I think, because I really need to finish this. I'm only 35% of the way through at the moment, and I want, as I said, in day 3's part of this, that I wanted to get at least halfway. I'm literally not that far off halfway now. I'm only about 40 pages off. So I'm now thinking if I get halfway, I'll be really happy, considering the amount of times I spend sort of like stopping and starting with this. But yeah, I really enjoyed Brain Freeze. I'm quite glad that I stopped reading Invictus to read that, but now I'm really excited to get back to Invictus. Full update on Invictus, but I'm officially halfway through. Look at that, I'm officially dead on 50% as I stop reading for the day. This is day 4, by the way, in case you're wondering. It's day 4 and I'm officially halfway. So I'm not sure what my plans are for tomorrow in terms of reading. I may spend the entire day reading, to be honest, because I really actually want to finish this, and I'm not gonna have time I'm not gonna have any time over the weekend. So I may just read the entire thing, like the rest of it tomorrow, or at least attempt it, and then start a new book next week, because I don't like the idea of leaving this over the weekend. I'd rather read it in one go, finish it, and then get on to the rest of the stuff that I've got planned to read, because I've got a couple of deadlines coming up that I need to read things for. And so I may read this in its entirety tomorrow, because it's only another 231 odd pages, and I can do that in a day. I reckon I can do that in a day, so I may just read this in its entirety tomorrow. Fingers crossed. It's really cold in here, so I've wrapped myself in my blanket, but it turns out I overslept this morning, and that's why my hair's a complete absolute mess and all the rest of it. But I overslept this morning, so I'm now an hour behind, and I was going to spend my entire day reading Invictus, but now I've got an hour less than I thought I had, so I'm a bit panicky. But I'm hoping, I mean, I can usually get through about 250 odd pages in a day with time to spare, and I've only got to read 233, so I'm fingers crossing, praying that I can actually get through this, because I really don't want to carry this into the weekend, quite frankly, or into next week, because I've got so many other books to read and everything, and I just want to I just really badly want to get this one finished, because it's so good and I'm so enjoying it. I just want to know everything, but it's just, I really don't want to wait to finish it, so I'm just hoping I can actually finish it today. Fingers crossed. Quick update, I am now this far in, so I've now only got this much more to read, and it's only taken me about an hour and a half to read that much, so I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm pretty confident I can actually finish the last, how many odd pages? About 123 pages? I reckon I can finish that today. I can definitely finish that today. I'm so glad about that, and I'm just really happy that I've read that far so far. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm so enjoying this book. We've just got past all of the explanation as to who Elliot is and everything, and it's such a cool idea, and it's such an interesting idea, I'm so new to like sci-fi in books because I mostly watch sci-fi on the TV and stuff like Star Trek and like obviously all the Marvel films and Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man and all the rest of them, and they're all very, very science fiction-y, whereas I feel like I read more fantasy. I've only really in recent months just started reading sci-fi, and I'm so glad I did, because this book is so interesting and it's literally a cross between like Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Trek, like the first Star Trek film with Chris Pine, which I absolutely love, and it's got like the dynamics and the slight oddness of Guardians of the Galaxy with slightly less humour and stuff, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and it's completely and utterly converted me to reading more sci-fi books. So I just finished Invictus, and I thought I'd give the final update on Invictus while I cook my lunch, but oh my god, I love it. I love that book so much. I just finished it. It's like 2:30, I think, in the afternoon, so I managed to finish it reasonably early. I was expecting to finish it more about 4 o'clock, and it actually turned out to be about 2:30, so I'm quite happy with that. But I absolutely love that book. That book was amazing. I love the ending of it. I love like how it all turned out and everything. The ending made me tear up, and that has like for a book to make me tear up, it takes a lot of doing, and by that I mean it takes like the most incredible emotional gut punch to get me to like feel like crying while reading a book. And the ending, like the last about 6 or 7 chapters, just made me want to cry for like various reasons, because originally it was like wanting to cry because you were like, oh my god, are they going to survive, is everything going to turn out okay, kind of thing. And then the ending just sort of was so happy, and it gave so much hope and everything. I'm in love with that book now. I'm in love with that book. That was so good. That was unbelievably good. I'm so glad I read it now. I am so glad I read it now, and now I'm really desperate for a sequel. As far as I know, I don't think there's going to be a sequel, but there really should be, because that book was amazing, and I want more from the Invictus team. I want to know more about the Invictus team. I want more adventures. I want a film of it. I want everything. That was just amazing, essentially. That was just amazing. But now that is actually the end of my Timehopeathon, because that was all my TBR. So now I think I'm going to put the books down for a while, because my hands are killing me from holding physical books. I think I'm going to give up on reading physical books for the rest of the week. I mean, it is 2:30 on a Friday. It's not going to be like I'm not reading for like a really long time. I'll probably pick up another book on Monday. But right now I'm just going to watch some TV, probably catch up on some booktube videos that I'm behind on, and probably, well, I'm probably just going to read fanfic. Let's be honest, I'm going to read fanfic and enjoy the weekend. So that is the story of my Timehopeathon. What did you guys read? Oh, my lunch is ready. But what did you guys read for Timehopeathon? Tell me down below. And if you read any of the books that I did, please tell me that down below so we can discuss them a bit. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and comment down below, like I said, with anything to do with any of the books that I mentioned. I will also leave the links down below to all of my social media if you want to check any of those out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here. And over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye.